said he's gonna call me up, anytime they need an infielder. And I said, he goes, well, you're going to the double A. I said, no. You don't understand. Billy Warren told me I was gonna be a big leaguer. I need to be in triple A. He goes, you don't understand. I'm the farm director. You're going to double A, and you're gonna make what you signed for. I said, then I'm thinking, I was like depressed, because I thought I'd be in triple A. I started, how can I make this thing better? I signed a split contract, 1,000 for AAA, 750 for AA. I said, well, at least pay me the $1,000 in AAA then, dude, okay? He goes, no, you're getting 750 what you signed for. I said, I quit. I went to Orlando, right up that road from Plant City, and went home, pissed off because of $250 a month. Look what I would have given up. 3 days later, stuck my pride in my pocket, went back to Plant City, called them up and said, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, would you take me back? They said, yeah, come on back. Well, I went back, and I can tell you stories all day long about what it took to play 10 years in the big leagues. But I really don't want to take time to tell you stories and entertain you. I want to inspire you, not only to be better people, but be better players, you know? Nobody told me to pull the batting cage out when it was on Pipkin Field, and I pulled the straight arm machine out and pulled it over and hooked it up over there where the cage used to be, and I turned that machine on by myself. Nobody told me to do that, because I love to hit. I love to hit. But back when I hit in college, I was back like this, okay? Because I was a pull hitter, you know, they couldn't get it by me. But when I came in got in the big leagues, the pitching made me change my swing, so I got more upright in my stance, because I had to get ready a little bit quicker. And Carly Strumsky did the same thing. Toward the end of Carly Strumsky's career, he stood straight up and straight down. So I don't know what style you want to hit in right now, but each one of you has your own unique style of fielding. You have your own unique style of hitting, and if you play long enough, the pitchers will dictate what you're going to do. It's not you. You know, if you're fouling off pitches you shouldn't foul off, do something different. You can. I went up there one time against Jim Kern, Texas. He was throwing like 98 right over the top, about 6'8", and on the side it looked like 150. It was like cuckoo. And I said, my bat's not quick enough. So all I did in Texas, Jim Sundberg was catching, 6-time Gold Glover. He was throwing so fast. All I did was stick my bat out and see if he could hit it. And I hit a line drive right over his head, Jim Kern. It was like I go back to the bench and the guys go, how'd you do that, Pryor? I said, it's better than striking out, you know. Better than fouling it off, you know. But anyway, I had so many things like that. I had 3 walk-offs. I hit a walk-off in the bottom of the 16th in Comiskey Park, a pinch hit 2-run home run to walk it off. I hit 2 walk-offs in '84 in Kansas City. And you know, people say, how many home runs did you hit? Well, back when I played, we had some big parks. It was 441 feet. In Comiskey Park when I played there, you know, you didn't think about it. You're lucky to hit it close to the track in center field. So I don't know much about the game that you guys play now, but when I played old school baseball, it was so much. I had so much respect for the players that came before me that I honored the game. You're playing on a field out here that had some wonderful guys other than me that came here before me and after me. I'm just one of the guys that was able to come here and enjoy my life in baseball and made quite a bit of money. I've made more money in my pension than I did in my salary. You know, so any questions real quick? Anybody want to ask me a question about big league life? Can I have that water now? You can throw it.
You'll miss.
He can still catch.
Any questions? There's a guy in here that hit 2 home runs back to back last year. Who was it? Right here?
No. I was going to ask the best player you played with.
Oh well, George Brett, Carlton Fisk, you know, Brett Saberhagen, Frank White, you know, Jim Sundberg.
Do you see a difference in the way those guys handle themselves day in, day out?
You know, I don't follow it that closely, but I do know this: it's the ball is going to find you. You know, but I'm just saying you got to condense it. It's up to you. It's how you handle the ball when it's hit to you, or at home plate or in the field, and how you run the bases and how you think. And that's a great question, but it's not an easy answer because I'm not around them that much. The money has changed the game so much. Anyway, what am I gonna tell you?
The 85 group, a lot of these guys weren't even thought about, obviously.
Yeah, I know.
The 85, but none of them were. The 85 group, the the Royals, when they won, they had some great players. I assume what I just knew is I was growing up through it and seeing it. How close a group was that, and how important was that to your team success?
Yeah, it's great, Coach. When I got traded to the Royals, I hated them so bad. In '82, I got traded from the White Sox to the Royals, and I said, no, not Kansas City. Those buttholes, I don't want to play with those guys. But it was a job, you know. And the next morning, I show up in the clubhouse and walked in with my White Sox bag, and there's the Royals. I'm thinking, oh God, I can't believe I'm here. And and Brett walks up to me. Everybody's heard of George Brett, I guess. Well, I was a third baseman. I played when he didn't. And he walks up to me. He goes, Pryor, how come you never said hi to me on the base when I was in Comiskey Park or I was in Roll Stadium? I said, because I didn't like you at all. That's why. He goes, in fact, I think I said I hated him. I think I did. You know, because I'm not saying you got to fight the other team, but you can't let them intimidate you. You got to intimidate them. And I got traded in Kansas City. I was traded to Kansas City in '82, and I played with Tom Cray, the biggest intimidator of the world, and George Brett, and Frank White, and Willie Wilson, and Dan Quisenberry, you name it. These guys were all-stars. And I played in Chicago with Chet Lemon, our only all-star that made the all-star team. But I got traded to Kansas City, and man, did I have to up my ante to be accepted. You know, a hint about baseball as I see it from afar, looking backwards. It's easy to get a cup of coffee anywhere. You can get a cup of coffee here. I got a cup of coffee in '67 when my dad bribed a coach. I got here, and okay, I made the most of it. But in baseball, you got to get accepted by your teammates. You know, that's where you become a major leaguer. And I didn't try to kiss anybody's butt, but when I got on the field, I had my territory, my play, my decisions, and that's what happened. Amos Otis, I played with Amos for 3 years, a great player, could have been in the Hall of Fame. When I got to Kansas City, he says to me, he was, Pryor, it's different here than Chicago. I said, what do you mean? He says, we're expected to win here. And we're walking down to the field, and Amos told me that. I was like, oh, shit, that's all I needed to hear, you know? Because hey, you're nervous every day in the big leagues. There's no free lunch, because the ball's gonna come at you. You just gotta know what to do with it. And all you guys that walked on, all you guys on small scholarships, you're looking at one, I know where you're coming from. I'm not saying you have to be the greatest player ever to come out for a Southern, but be as good as you can be. Take time, get off. I don't know if you have Game Boys. You guys use Game Boys at night when you go to your rooms? Oh, not. Use some hand grips while you're doing it, whatever. Get stronger. Is that a good answer?
That was great.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
Any other questions? Yeah, right here.
What'd you do the night you won the World Series?
Oh, I had 45, it's a question, what did I do the night we won the World Series? I had to get 45 tickets for the World Series. So I had a house full of people. Both sides, my wife's side and my side, they were all there. Yeah, just party in the house with them. You know, at times in my life, my subconscious took over when I played because you get so good, hopefully, that your subconscious will make you do things that you don't think you can do. And everybody in this room can do it. You can be a hero today, if you want it, or tomorrow. I remember a time where Dave Winfield was batting. I was at third base. He was with the Yankees then. And Dave Winfield, I don't know if you remember Dave Winfield, but he was a stud. I'm telling you what. He got up to home plate and he drug the whole home plate with his feet like this, and nobody does that, you know. But he hit me a line drive at third base, and I was back as far as I could get. And it's the only time in my 16 years of playing for money that a ball was hit right here, right? It was coming right there, and it was coming like 120. And my glove, whenever I got ready at third base, my glove was always right here because here to here is quicker than from here to here. Okay, here to here is quicker from here to here. You know, so I was able to get my glove up. But when you bring your glove up in front of your face when this ball's coming 120, you know what happens? The leather gets in your eyes. You know, so I had to decide at the last second whether to live or die. I swear, this ball was gonna kill me if I didn't get it right. Well, it hit my glove right here, and the next thing I knew, I was on the ground. I rolled over, and the ball was in my glove. And after the game, the owner of the team, Avron Fogelman, came to my locker, and he goes, Pryor, how did you catch that ball to Winfield hit you? I said, sir, that's what you pay me for. You know, I was trying to be funny. But that was an experience that hopefully none of you have to experience in here, because it's scary. When you get on the field, the ball has a personality. It knows if you're scared. Okay, it's on my list. I got where's my list of stuff here? Here I got 21 tips on how to be a better player. I signed every one of them. It's for each of you. We'll put it in your locker. That way you don't throw it away too early. We'll get it in your locker somehow. And then I signed 40 of my baseball cards. I got 40 baseball cards. I signed a card for you. You know, my favorite card is my rookie card. And who can guess why my rookie card is my favorite? Because when you're a rookie in the big leagues, you got no stats. So all they did was put my minor league stats on the back of my card, and my minor league stats were much better than my big league stats. So I always show people my rookie card. But you guys are in the right place at the right time. It's a wonderful city. It's a wonderful sport. You guys wish you were my grandkids and grandsons, and I could be proud of you and whatever you do here. But I have one grandson. He's in California. But when I knew that they were doing the deal tonight, I said, I'm going to go talk to the team, because I got some things to say to make them enjoy the game a little bit more, you know? Get along with each other, you know? Don't be jealous. Don't be angry. Get along with each other. You guys standing up, yelling at each pitch. I was there the other night with Valdosta for a couple of innings. I watched you guys. And I was like, what are they over there yelling for? Look at them yelling over there. And you know what it means to me? That you guys are working to get along. That's what it takes. You know, George Brett's a Hall of Famer, but he couldn't have made it without me. Because, you know, I was part of the team. You know, if you want to see my ring, you're welcome to come see it. You know, you might say, how many home runs did you hit in your career? I said, I got paid for 16 years. Any more questions? Right here.
Looking back on your career, like, what was your favorite moment?
Favorite moment? Personally, it was a walk-off home run in the 16th in World Stadium. It was like 120 degrees on the turf. And I was playing against my old team, the White Sox. And 2 out in the bottom of the 16th, and I sent everybody home. Yeah, the guy threw the ball right where I was swinging. He threw it right where I was swinging. George Brett's on the bench with me one game. His legs were this wide, mine were this wide. You know, I'm always looking at his legs, saying, how do you get legs that big? Anyway, that's how he became a great hitter. He goes to me, he goes, Pryor, you got a bat that feels good? I said, you talking to me? And he said, yeah, I'm talking to you. I said, yeah, it's a dart bat down there. It's got tape on the handle. So George is on deck. He was struggling hitting. He's up on deck with a donut on, and he gets up and he gets a base hit. Broke my bat. It was his bat that he used. So after the game, I see it sitting there. The handle was cracked. I ran up to his locker. I said, George, you got to keep this. This is your 2000th hit. They stopped the game. They put it on the board. George Brett's 2000th hit. That's 10 years of 200 hits, gentlemen. So George says, I don't want that ugly looking bat. I can't believe I used that. I said, well, maybe for your wife. He says, I ain't never getting married. I said, maybe for your kids. I ain't having no kids. I said, well, sign it to me. So George Brett signed his 2000th hit bat to me right by his locker when I walked up to after he got the hit. You know, it was wonderful playing with him and the guys that were much better than me in baseball cards prove it. You know. But it was still hard out there to play like them or play close to the level I did. So you guys that are not in the lineup today or tomorrow or whatever, be ready. Be ready. Let me tell you about a last story I'll tell you, unless you want more. I was in Cleveland one time. It was so cold. I had my thing on. I was so freezing. I had to chew it. I was so happy I wasn't playing because it was so cold and the wind was blowing. Hot dog wrappers everywhere. Our second baseman got picked off at first base, and he come up and he took his helmet, man, and he threw it down like that, Tony Bernazard, and the second base umpire ran over and threw him out of the game. Threw him out of the game from second base. You know, as soon as he threw him out, you know what was going to happen? Pryor, get your jacket off. You're going to freeze for the next 2.5 hours. And Larissa, my manager, who wrote the forward to my book, he goes, Pryor, you're a second. I said, yeah, I know. So I go out there. I went up to Durwood Merrill, the umpire. I said, Durwood, what an asshole you are. What'd you throw him out for? Now I got to be out here freezing my ass off with you. So be ready, okay? Be ready, because don't assume anything. Do not assume that the ball back to the middle is not gonna hit the pitcher's foot and bounce over to third or first or second or wherever. When the ball goes up in the air in the infield, Cliff Johnson, anybody heard of Cliff Johnson? He hit me the highest pop-up I've ever had in my life in the rain. And I'm thinking, I was at shortstop, and it went up and up and up, and I almost lost sight of it. It was coming back down. I'm thinking, maybe somebody else will catch it. I'm looking around, because I hated pop-ups. I hated pop-ups. Because you hardly practice them, right? Did you practice pop-ups?
We do every day. A lot.
Yeah.
We don't wanna drop them.
Today we will.
But today we are.
Yeah. And then I got one more Baltimore story after this, real
You're good.
quick. Okay, so I'm staggering under this ball that Cliff Johnson hit me, and it ended up in my glove. And I think, I hate pop-ups. You know why? Because you gotta sit there and think about my girlfriend. What's she doing right now? You know, what am I gonna eat after the game? No, concentrate on that ball. Anybody can catch a hard one-hopper, you know, catching a pop-up or running over your head. And the first time I really was in the big leagues in '76, we went to Baltimore, New York. And in Baltimore, it was Brooks Robinson at third and Mark Blanchard at second base, Bobby Grich at second. And those old Warriors teams, the thing that really stuck out at me my first trip in there in the big leagues was that they didn't give the other team any more outs. It's as simple as that. You guys know it. We're not going to give him any outs. That pitcher in Valdosta that threw that ball to center field on a pickoff, what a stupid play. No, we don't do that. we don't do that. You know?
You're right, that was a stupid play.
No, for us it was good.
It was good for us.
I'm thinking, poor guy. I've let balls go through my legs that cost games. I played a game in Comiskey, and I hated to have balls hit right at me. I prided myself on fielding balls to the side. I'd catch them here, I'd catch them here. I hated them here. Why? Because I couldn't see the bounce and the speed. You know, it was just a depth perception. So in Comiskey one night, Carlos Lopez of Baltimore, my rookie year in '78, he hit me 2 ground balls that right at me, and I couldn't get away from being right at me. Well, I made arrows on both of them, and I let in 5 unearned runs. We lost the game. It's my first year in the big leagues, for real. And I'm walking in the clubhouse, and I'm thinking, I suck. God, I suck. I just blew my chance. Well, Bob Lemon, my manager, Hall of Fame pitcher, he was manager of the White Sox, and he walks up to me, he puts his hand on my shoulder, and he goes, Pryor, hang in there, you're in there tomorrow. Oh, man, did I feel better. I forgave myself, he forgave me, and then I'm here talking to you guys. You know, don't be looking at other teams, but be sorry that your teammate didn't do what he's supposed to do. Be sorry for him, feel for him. Don't walk up and say, oh, and don't worry about it. Yeah, do. You need to worry about it, you know. Do worry about it, because every play you make could mean the difference in winning and losing. Every play you make. And I'm sorry, you guys picked a sport. You can go play soccer if you want. You can play lacrosse if you want. But you guys are playing the best sport ever invented. And I hope you enjoy it as long as you live, okay? Any more questions, real quick? What's the schedule today? What do they do now?
We got Scott, pitchers are gonna go out, they'll start PFP, we won't be PFP on the mound, we'll do picks on the mound, and then we'll do, in the outfield, we'll do PFP stuff in the outfield too, so wet, and then position guys got Scott report right now, and then we got team practice right after.
Yeah, last December I was in Paris with my daughter and son-in-law, and I found this jacket, this old-timey jacket in a second-hand shop in Paris. And I was thinking, I can wear that when I go talk to the team. It looks like I'm a stud.
Great. Thank you very much.